Call this meeting to order. Please rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Here.
Mrs. Thompson, Mr. Gray,
Here.
Mr. Bittner,
Here.
Ms. Wong. Here. Mr. Elam.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Here. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of council from March 10th, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Yes. I'd like to correct the vote record for the amendment and approval as amended of the February 24 meeting minutes to include the 2 abstention votes of Mr. Bittner and Mr. Elam. And correcting the vote total to 502 for each motion. Is that accurate?
It is.
I would so move.
Seconded. Motion made by Ms. Wong to amend, second by Mr. Morris. Roll call the amendment, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Elam.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Any other,
Sorry.
any other amendments? Good.
Motion to approve is amended.
Motion made by Ms. Wong. Second by Mr. Gray. We'll approve as amended. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong. Aye. Mr. Elam.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Correspondence, clerk, do we have any correspondence this evening?
I do not.
Does any member of council have correspondence they wish to share tonight? No, we'll move on to administrative department head reports. Mayor and Safety Director, Mr. Eva, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Johnson, members of council, public here this evening. Start off with our heavy rain that we had on March 11th. We had flooding throughout the entire city. This was due to probably the early winter where there were leaves and debris still in the ditches. Our service department was out most of the day. The situation on Southland, they had to open up the fabric since that's not rated yet to allow the water to flow. Again, most of the city was underwater. Mr. Gray, I want to thank you for on Thursday after that bought lunch for all the service part. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Also, I got a memo from NOPEC. Starting in April, residents will be receiving enrollment letters for NOPEC's electric aggregation program for the term beginning with their June 2026 meter read date. These letters will provide details on how to opt out of the program if they choose to opt out. And again, this is for electric. Only the supply of electricity used will be provided by NOPEC. All other functions, including delivery, repair, and billing, will continue to be provided by your electric utility. Customers will continue to receive only one bill. Very similar to the gas, where you'll get one bill, but also pick your electric supplier. Mr. Morris, I did have a conversation with Mayor Potter yesterday about the jetback truck. He suggested both Mr. Zeman and the law director in Kirtland get together, see if we can work that out. Mrs. Valentine contacted the city of Willoughby. Many years ago, we had an agreement with Mentor to be able to use the Mentor Civic Center pool. Willoughby is open to an agreement with us to allow our residents to pay the resident rate, and we would cover the difference of the non-resident cost. The non-resident rate in Willoughby this year is $137. So it would be $80 per pass. Mrs. Valentine figured roughly 500 residents. That would be roughly about $40,000 to have our residents use the Willoughby Osborne Park pool. Something they didn't consider before we pass the appropriations ordinance tonight. Also, Mrs. Valentine gave council on March 7th, a jet vac memo. 2 pages you all received. Basically, I'll summarize that, debris that's left in storm pipes holds moisture, creates pressure points, and causes pipe joints to deteriorate, leading to sinkholes. Owning our own would allow the service department proactively rather than reactively to clean and do regular operations. I would consider or ask council to consider adding back the 250,000 and allow us to finance the remainder to be paid full in 2027. Roughly, it's $400,000. Adding back the 250, we would finance 150,000 and own our own jet vac truck. That concludes my report tonight.
Thank you. Administrative Director, Mrs. Valentine, good evening.
Good evening. The United Way is hosting a poverty simulation on Friday, April 10th in Concord for city representatives. So if anyone on council is interested in attending, you can email me and I'll send the registration. You guys move the microphone, it sounds. Say something. Hello? Okay, it was fuzzy out here. I don't know if you got it. I didn't. So, due to the agenda, the traveler's insurance, this time, the resolution 2026 R15. For comparison, last year was 97,717, making this year a 9.4% increase. This is consistent with current public entity insurance market conditions, per different articles that I've read on the internet. So in regards to the body cam purchase under 2026 R14, the grant award paperwork has been received. The Ohio Department of Public Safety will cover 100% of the costs. You just received it Monday. And then lastly, I would like to ask council to approve the 2026 road program this evening on behalf of the city of Mentor, needing the contract signed in order to begin their work on schedule. That's it.
Good. Thank you. Law Director, Mr. Zeman, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of council. Not so much to the public comments, but perhaps soliciting a little bit of feedback. Working with Mrs. Valentine, trying to get some of your resolutions and ordinances with maybe a little additional detail. We know that contracting is something that council is understandably sensitive to in terms of having that additional detail. So hopefully tonight's resolutions, while not getting into infinite detail, do maybe walk things through a little bit. What's being purchased, why? Again, is it being competitively bid or there's an exception to competitive bid? Those are the types of elements we want to try to add, not just for the members of council and for the permanent record of council, but also the goal is that members of the public, if they choose to look at them online or elsewhere, can get a very good understanding of what's being purchased, why, and some of the material conditions such as purchase price and things of that nature. So hopefully that's a step in the right direction. And to the extent there's any feedback, certainly give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'll continue to work with Mrs. Valentine to get up to what we consider a little bit better best practices in that regard. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Engineer, Mr. Parker, good evening.
Good evening. Just 2 updates. One is we have not heard anything from ODNR on the permitting. They promised by the end of the month, so there'll be a call made next Wednesday on April 1st to find out what's going on if we have not heard from them.
April Fool's Day, that seems fair.
And then secondly is we are working with Severino to establish when they're coming out to complete the south. So that's a work in progress and hopefully we'll have more report at the next meeting.
Good. Thank you. Questions for the administration? Mr. Morris.
Yes, Mr. Parker, what all do they have to do to Southland in a nutshell?
So when they put the whole system in, they didn't connect any of the downspouts, drains from some pumps. So we're gonna go back in, connect those in, clean out them. And then be able to connect that back into the system and then level everything out.
Thank you.
And they're gonna seed and mulch to do the restoration, and then they're gonna clean up the mess they made out here where their yard is.
All right, thank you.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Beal.
Parker. Will Severino put berms on Southland? Berms. Gravel alongside the new pavement.
I don't believe that was part of the contract. Again, I'd have to go back and look at the contract plans because that was designed by the previous engineer. So I don't remember the details, but I'll look, but I don't think that was part of their contract. So is berm something you'd be interested in having installed?
Well, yeah, I think berms are important for otherwise if cars go off the side of the road and then they take asphalt with them. So I think I've always thought berms were important for roads and streets, and they've not always been put in. So I just asked the question.
Yeah, I don't think it was part of the original design. It's something we can go back and look at. But typically when we do an overlay, we do put a triangular section in there that holds the asphalt in.
You're right, yeah.
And we usually use the old grindings, that they're more rigid and they actually hold it in.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think that was part of the original design.
Thank you.
Other questions? I just want to say, Mr. Zeman, thank you. We appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, sir.
You are a ray of sunshine around here.
I appreciate that, but I'm working with great people, so, yeah, I can't take credit, I have to share it with, some really good people that you have here with the city. Just happy with the relationships that we're building on the business side of things. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. All right, board committee commission reports, Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Recs met on March 12th at 6:30. All members of the board were present, and we had the honor of swearing in a new member, David Losky. Sworn in, and put right to work. So the first order of business was to have a chair and a vice chair. Jeanette Patasco is going to be it's continuing as chair, and the new vice is going to be Tess Terry. She was nominated as the co-chair or vice. On the items of business, we reviewed some of the rules for this year. It's an ongoing process, and then we had a very lengthy discussion pertaining to the ordinance committee, considering requirements of all committees and to be recorded via either audio and or video. It's a very lengthy discussion. Members of the board were advised to give all concerns, comments to me before our next ordinance meeting. So those were sent to me. Then we reviewed the calendar of events that we have. And the follow-up was to consider other events for the future.
Good, thank you. Ordinance committee.
The ordinance committee met on March 13th. Present were all three members of the committee, as well as Council President Johnson, Council Vice President Morris, Mayor Eva, and members of the public, Mr. Strong, and Mr. and Mrs. Donald. Regarding the regulation of backyard chicken coops, a second draft of legislation for backyard chicken coops was reviewed by this group. Several additional concerns were raised and discussed. The committee remains in agreement that limits above and beyond state law are warranted in order to allow for household benefits to be gained from the humane keeping of such animals on small neighborhood lots, while discouraging the commercial activity that would be better suited for larger rural properties or farmland. Additional revisions will be discussed at the next committee meeting. This group also reviewed a first draft of language establishing a comprehensive plan implementation committee. Further adjustments to this language will be reviewed at the next committee meeting. The committee did consider comments regarding the recording of all public meetings that were offered by email from members of the Parks and Rec Board and in person from the mayor and residents attending this meeting. Some concerns were about the risks of voice or facial recognition technology possibly being used for nefarious purposes, the costs to the city for this, encountering tech problems without troubleshooting help available, and that recording might be a deterrent to civic participation. Other opinions voiced were that residents with hearing aids find the recordings useful to back up and repeat what was said, that resident social media posts frequently ask for greater transparency, and that many residents, particularly those who work second shift, are simply not available to attend evening meetings and still want to know what's going on with various groups in the city. Finally, it was acknowledged that Currently, any meeting may be recorded by an attendee and that record posted anywhere they please. The committee acknowledged a responsibility to consider all positions and weigh the concerns of those who volunteer for public positions against the desire for greater governmental transparency and flexibility and involvement for all residents. And finally, our review of 146404B point of sale inspection fees was tabled to the next meeting due to time constraints. We tentatively set the next meeting for Monday, April 13 at 6:30 to be confirmed at this next regular meeting of council. We adjourned at 6:24. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Committee of the whole met on Thursday, March 19th at 6:30 PM. Present were all members of council and Mayor Eva. We reviewed the appropriations further. The fire department's counter proposal for their budget. The administration indicated it was reduced now as far as it can go. General services, we discussed on professional services, what to add to the line item for comprehensive plan implementation, extra publishing of American Legal, and e-bike educational efforts. So there was a desire to increase that by $30,000 to cover those costs. Reduce service department capital by $250,000 until the jet vac situation can be evaluated thoroughly. Reducing the capital to $35,000 for the remainder of their items. Police department is to add $10,000 to increase the total budget by $10,000 to line 212, 220, 5420. The committee adjourned at 7:18 PM. Zoning committee, that report will come when Des back. Finance committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm gonna try to push this microphone that way. And there's something that stays on, right? Okay. Finance committee met tonight at 6:30. To discuss the $25,000 limit that the administration can spend without council approval. Present were myself, Mr. Bittner, Mr. Gray, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Morris. Two questions. Should the $25,000 limit be changed? No decision was made about that. Except that it should be presented to council for them to decide if it should be changed and the amount. The committee offered three different amounts, but did not agree on any of it. To leave as is for 15,000 and 5,000. The committee does refer this issue to all of council and does so unanimously. And we ended our meeting at 6:45 PM. And that concludes my report.
Good, thank you. Were there any other boards, committees, or commissions that met that aren't on the list tonight?
Board of Zoning Appeals.
Board of Zoning Appeals, thank you.
Board of Zoning Appeals met on March 16. All board members, including Mr. Jeeling, Ms. Montgomery, Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Freitas, and myself were present. Also present were Zoning and Housing Administrator Mr. Snyder, Law Director Mr. Zeman, Council President Johnson, and Council Vice President Morris. Mayor Eva was absent. There was no public hearing scheduled for this meeting. Revision of the board rules was revisited by this group and a review of substantial additions to the current rules was undertaken. A few further changes were agreed upon and the group will seek legal review before considering adoption at the April meeting. The next standing meeting date of the Board of Zoning Appeals will be Monday, April 20th at 7 PM. We adjourned at 7:32 PM. That concludes this review.
Good, thank you. We'll now move on to open to the public and speak. If you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern, state your name and address for the record. Please, no pushing and shoving. Nobody, okay. We will close this portion open to the public to speak. We'll move on to legislation before council. Ordinance number 2026-0-02, if you could please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2026-0-02, third reading. An ordinance providing appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Mentor on the Lake for the year 2026, repealing any ordinance prior thereto and declaring an emergency.
Okay, discussion on it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mrs. Valentine, I understand that, an amendment was actually issued on the appropriations. And somewhere in the last minute, because Councilwoman Wong brought it up, none of us got it except her.
She emailed me, and I emailed her back, and usually she would say during the meeting, she would say, this is what I found in the document, and she would ask everyone to amend it. So that's what I thought the process was, which is what I stated in the email. I was just helping Taylor out, so she didn't have to then correct it afterward. By sending her the updated version.
This is basically it was basically an incorrect, it was a math error under Fund 212. Where the total didn't change, so really the total doesn't need to be revised, it's just the $9,000 dental payment was accounted for a different category, so one category was the actual total was 9,000 more than ought to have been, and the other total was 9,000 less, that's why the total didn't change, but since the legislation should probably have the correct totals for the correct categories listed,
Agreed.
that's the correction, and I sent that out to everybody in
Yes,
Taylor.
thank you. One last comment, if I may. Mr.
Yes.
President. Regardless what happens tonight with the budget. I still think there could have been more cuts made. They would have been very uncomfortable cuts. But just because council approves the current appropriations, assuming that's what occurs. It should never be assumed that we're happy, everything's just peachy keen. Such as overtime budgets should be watched closer by the department heads. I know at least one department were way over their overtime budget last year. And we should use more of the part-time help to fill the open spots instead of running to the full-timer and increasing our full-time overtime budget. That's my opinion. Because the part-time people are a lot cheaper to use and do the same job as the full-timers do, unless I'm mistaken.
If I may, we sat with the department heads at the end of January. And we will continue to monitor the overtime. I don't disagree with what you said, but we are going to watch that. If not every month, but every other month. And again, like I said, Mrs. Valentine sat with both the police chief, fire chief to go over the overtime that we've already paid out this year. And hopefully we stay within that overtime appropriation.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. President. Mr. Elam.
The budget this year pretty realistic in terms of what expenses we're trying to accommodate. I've always been concerned with the budgetary process because there's always a competition between what's needed, and everybody recognizes what's needed, and the amount is appropriated for those needs. The other issue is that we have to take into consideration, and I think council has done that, is looking at the financial base we have, the money that we have on hand, and how many of those needs we can accommodate. And I think that tension is always there. And I think from what I've observed, council has done a very good job in trying to balance out those two issues. So I want to commend the council for what it's done in this particular budget. Thank you.
Thank you. As well.
I'd like to comment on the $250,000 for the jetpack from the service department. I understand the justification for it. I think we agree with that. It's just that right now, I don't think we know actually how much to budget for it. Are we going to be buying our own? We've had a couple of feelers out and I appreciate that effort because that might lead to a more easily afforded option if we can share a truck or get into a shared situation with another municipality or another group. There was some discussion about looking at either, you're right, used trucks, or have we looked at the possibility of outsourcing the service? There are some municipal, commercially oriented jet vac services that at least for the short term, perhaps the next year, until we decide where we can get the money or where we will borrow from to buy our own equipment, that we could do for a season. I think until we decide that, I don't see where the $250 that we budgeted for the jet vac trailer needs to be in there. I understand that if a decision is made to spend, that it'll then need to come back before us, but I think we're prepared for that. That's sort of how we talked about it when we discussed cutting the $250 from the service department equipment budget.
If I may,
Mhm.
I appreciate your comments. I think having our own is at least letting the service department work that into regular operations. We already know we have sinkholes in several places that we have to. We also know that most of Ward 1, Mr. Gray's ward, was pretty much underwater a couple weeks ago. If we were proactive to take care of that rather than reactive, if these guys are on a regular schedule where they could do a quarter of the city once a year, and we could come back and say, every 4 years, everything has been cleaned out. I think that would be very helpful. And also maybe add, years to the life of some of the storm sewers that we have. The idea being, if we know the estimates are around 400,000, to put the 250 down this year and then pay the rest in 2027.
Anyone else?
Also, any comments on the Willoughby agreement for the pool?
Mr. President, good. Fabulous. When Minner cut us off, we could stop paying the Minner, we stopped paying the Minner, thing. That cost us $20,000 that year. I don't think we've ever, went over $20,000. Now, when you consider having access to all of those recreation facilities, now what you're saying is just maybe the pool, am I correct?
Well, it would be the pool, but then, once you have that pass, you're,
Oh, okay.
but if there's more there, but pool.
To have access to that, even at $40,000, it's phenomenal. And I was opposed to it being canceled in the beginning. And by the way, I was on the chair of the Parks and Recreation Board back in the day when we approved it, by the way, just FYI, okay. It's amazing I'm that old, Dave.
You and me both.
Oh, yeah, right, Anyway, but no, I think that's an excellent program, and whatever we need to do to allow the citizens access to those facilities, will be money well spent.
Yeah, and to your point, Mr. Elam, it's one of those quality of life type of things.
Exactly.
We don't have a lot of things here. We have parks in the city, but this is something that could attract younger families to the city. Willoughby is right next door to us. And the fact is, Mrs. Valentine checked, Kirtland has the same agreement with Willoughby.
Oh, is that right?
And Kirtland is way far away.
Yeah.
I just think, the estimate of 40,000 could be, it could be right, it could be wrong, but every spring we get emails, we get calls about why can't we have access to the Civic Center or somewhere else? This, to me, to your point, is $40,000 well spent if it happens.
It probably won't be that much, but
Right.
even if it is, even if it's more, it's a great opportunity, it really was.
Right.
Also, question, historically, so when we had resident privileges for Mentor's facilities, how much was that costing us and why did we, why do we no longer? How was it, why was
It
that?
was, the Mr. Eagles Point was right around 20,000. How that would work is with Mentor, they would sign our residents up. The people would say, I live in Mentor on the Lake. At the end of the year, we would get from Mentor Recreation Department, here's the list of residents that have used our pool, and here's, you know, the invoice to pay.
Right.
So this would work very similar to if we had the agreement with Willoughby, the same way.
Okay,
They would register our residents and then, you know, bill us, you know, probably in the fall for whatever residents use the pool over. The reason we stopped was we were out of money. Well, I told the story when I took office. The first thing Mr. Molnar said to me was, we're out of money. We're gonna have to put a levy on the ballot. So that was probably one of the first things that was reduced in the appropriations. Immediately, you know, we cut costs to get to, you know,
was that approximately how many residents were using it? Do we know?
I could.
Was
look
it a
up.
steady number? Was it a declining number over the years?
I couldn't tell you.
And was this access only to the pool or was it to all of their?
Well, no, in
Services.
fact, I believe if I'm correct, it was for their senior center, for everything. Yes.
Camps.
Right, camps and everything, right.
Would that be the case with Willoughby then? Or would it be
I-
just for the pool pass?
Gee,
This is just for the pool, but I can inquire about their senior center is over by South High School. If I don't know, we don't charge our seniors anything, so I don't know what I can ask.
It was a good program.
They don't have a high school center that would matter.
Right.
Give one, see it.
They do have a YMCA, but
Which is really senior to go.
My concern is, Willoughby has a pool down the street, correct? Mentor is building a new pool. Prior years, Mentor gave Mentor Island Lake residents the access to their whole program. But it will be nice to have access again. Is Mentor available?
My,
no, in fact, I don't even know that they'll be done with construction of the pool over there this year. You know, for the summer season. I know Garfield is open, but I'm not even sure that the Civic Center pool will
But
be ready.
it's also the aspect of the other activities
Right, oh, absolutely, yes.
that Mentor offers. So this year we might have had access to the one major new pool attraction. There still is 2 other pools in the city of Mentor.
Right.
So
Mr. President, am I correct that Mentor decided not to continue that program?
Yeah, we revisited that. I don't know if you're still on council or not.
No, that was, I picked that up afterwards.
Yeah, and they, you know, they did the same thing with Kirtland. That's why Kirtland went with Willoughby.
Right.
Yeah, they said they weren't gonna do that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Is that $80 for a family pass or an individual pass?
it's a pass. But I think all our passes, they don't do family passes anymore. I think they do individual, so it's $57 if you're a resident, and then it's $80, well, if you're a non-resident. By $100
And where would this be added? Would that be to general services or to rec?
I probably do Parks and Rec.
I believe it was a part of the recreation budget.
Right, we used to call it recreation reimbursement
Right,
program.
yes.
Right, yes.
Thank you. I'm getting the hang of this microphone. And I apologize for bringing up the past all the time, but hey, it's there. I mean, I was chairman of the board when we did that. It was just, and it was a good program. But, so I apologize for bringing up the past all the time.
Would it be an option for us to? Since we don't really know what the demand would be like, rather than adding 40,000 to that. Rec tab, say add. 20,000 to start or some lesser amount and then say, I mean, if that's what it is for the season and if it's used. It's used, we could look at going bigger next time, but to get an idea of sort of. Testing.
I would agree.
Testing.
I would agree with that.
The only thing would be, if you cut it off at 20,000 and we have other residents that want to go there and they say, sorry. Mentor on Lake said. They can only give us 20,000.
First come, first serve.
Well, I get it, but
I mean, like, if you wanna put 20,000, but then. I can come in and ask for an adjustment after, if we wind up going through it. If you don't wanna give it all.
There's a demand.
I personally think you've given us a lot to think about. It's a good program, good idea. But I do remember hearing when the program stopped, people were commenting, well, I shouldn't have to pay for my neighbor's kids to go swimming. And it's a lot to think about.
well, but think about a lot of things that not everybody participates in.
Right.
We just put a $70,000 fence at McMinn Park. Does everybody use McMinn Park?
No.
Is everybody gonna use Overlook Beach Park once we get everything done? I get your point, but I also see, you know. We see, like I said, every spring, you know, comments about, why can't we do this? You know, why can't we go to Mentor when we're right next door to them?
And I get that part. This was a nice surprise to be sprung on us, but to me, it's something that should be thought about, not just reacted to. That's my feeling.
I just got the response from Willoughby when I was on vacation and the whole executive fair, so today's the first day we had a chance to even go over everything.
Going on vacation.
So you said that the non-resident rate was 137 and the resident rate is 80?
Well, I think. They said we would pay the difference of the resident. I looked it up on
Right,
the
so it's-
Willoughby website. I believe it was the 57.
It's 50, the difference is 57. So
And we would
50
pay the remainder.
all right, so I mean, 57 times 200 residents is 11,000, so I mean, if we.
So we're paying the difference between
Yeah,
resident.
they paid $57,
Right.
whatever the resident rate is. But the non-resident rate is what, we're still paying the non-resident rate, because then we're paying the difference. Which I thought was $80.
Really, there's,
Right.
there is no savings.
It's not a saving.
We are just
It's just
covering.
participation.
It's a subsidy.
Right, so. I would like to know if it included more than just the pool. The ability to get their facilities at their resident rate.
I can ask, but it wouldn't be a specific person, because Willoughby has a different person for every resident.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the nice part about that.
Well, 20,000 would cover the subsidy for.
250.
Well, right, so we're.
Well, now, of course, be the naysayer of, here we go, bringing more money in, let's spend more money, instead of what we should be doing, which is not levying those taxes that we said we were going to reduce. But, oh, look, here's more money to spend, now we want $40,000 for this, we want $250,000 for that. It's more money, more money, more money, more headcount, everything, we keep adding things. But we don't ever seem to do what we said we were going to do, and that. Sorry, that just bothers the hell out of me. But. We either meant what we said, or we didn't. And I meant what I said. That when things got better, we were gonna get rid of those levies. That was our promise. Okay, so what do you guys wanna do? There's some motions here, something.
Motion for passage.
That's with what?
What?
First of all, you have to either amend, if you're going to add any of these things in.
I'm not adding anything in, unless somebody else is. Those things are not,
All right, let's back up. First of all, we have not amended the ordinance officially to add in the other changes we've already made, that we already proposed. Which were to add $10,000 into the police department budget to reduce the fire department budget to what has been presented to us. To add in the $30,000 under general services. Those things have not been amended yet.
I would make a motion to amend. Include those things. But the other issues have not been solidified yet, so I don't think we can deal with those. Till they become solid reality to us.
Let me ask a question of procedure. Since we've discussed all of those individual changes as council as a whole, is it in a public meeting? Is it possible for us to take the amended version of the ordinance and make amendments, further amendments like this pool thing or not, add the 250 back or not, and work with that rather than individually voting on the changes that led to that amended?
So the first step would be to amend as presented. So
Okay.
the new presentation that we all have and we've all read.
Okay.
So that would be the first step.
Okay, so but we can't,
Then we can amend that further with any other changes that is desired.
And that would be my motion to amend as presented.
Okay, so the motion made to amend as presented, seconded by Mr. Morris. So made by Mr. Elam, seconded by Mr. Morris. Roll call on that amendment, please.
Mr. Morris?
Aye.
Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
aye.
Mr. Elam?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye. All right, so now, are there further amendments?
Mr. President, I think those other issues, as they come up throughout the year, council has the ability to act on those. And put them in the process right now may be premature, because we don't know what's gonna be exactly. We got information, but no decision's been made about any of them. Council, no further amendments at this point. I'll second that. Motion for passage.
Anybody else on the discussion on amendments right now? Any other amendments?
Just a comment. These appropriations, once they're approved, will be certified and go to the county. Once that's final, we can adjust funds along the way, but this is it for the year. So as far as adding anything in, if we have to adjust certain funds to do that, we can do that. But we cannot add any more appropriations to this after it passes today. Right.
Mr. President.
Yes.
I understood, if I understood correctly, Jacqueline mentioned that in the computer regarding the budget, there are funds in there and accounts that we don't know what they're used for. Am I correct on that? No?
No, I don't understand what you mean by that.
That there was monies, there was some monies put in accounts in the budget that would. You weren't sure what they were there for, but you lifted it. Because they came in from the previous administration. No, I'm mistaken.
I think it depends on,
That's
it's definitely not.
all right. I may be,
I think everything's been Mrs. Valentine's put out memo after memo to explain everything in this appropriation.
Okay. I was,
I'm not aware of anything in here that we don't know about.
what I was suggesting, maybe those that were not, those things could be moved over to something else. But anyway, but thank you. I was mistaken. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm done.
Okay. Are there any further amendments to this?
Make the motion to pass it on. I do. Must be great second. I believe.
No, that wasn't, but yes. He made a motion, there was no second officially for that motion.
I thought you did. I did.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear your second. So motion made by Mr. Elam to approve as amended. Seconded by Mr. Gray. Any discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
No. Ordinance number 2026-0-03, if you can please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2026-0-03, third reading. An ordinance providing for the compensation of elected and appointed salaried and hourly employees of the city of Mentor on the Lake, repealing any and all other ordinances and parts thereof which may be inconsistent herewith, or which may be redundant hereto, and declaring an emergency.
Okay, any discussion on this?
Motion for passage?
Motion made by Mr. Gray, is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Morris for passage. Any discussion? The motion to pass. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Resolution number 2026-R-13, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2026-R-13, a resolution authorizing the administrative director to advertise for competitive bids for the 2026 storm sewer repair project and declaring an emergency.
Discussion.
Will taking this to at least a second reading, pose any prohibitive delay in our ability to either secure a contractor or affect the job completion date?
I mean, we can't work on the bid until it's approved. so,
Right.
I mean, so we don't have anyone planned, so no, it just delays the process in general.
Okay.
It's a fairly large project to get done in one season unless you go to a larger contractor, which usually comes with a large dollar amount. So if it's approved tonight, we start the design and survey and everything tomorrow. If it goes to a second reading,
Right.
we'll put it out for 2 weeks.
No, it's spending a significant amount of money and the public has seen it once, so.
I think we're gonna get all stormwater.
It's all the stormwater reimbursed.
All of it.
All of that.
Motion for suspension.
Motion made by Mr. Bittner, is there a second on this motion?
For suspension, so.
Yes.
I see no reason not to. Second it. I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Bittner, seconded by Mr. Elam for suspension of the rules. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
No.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
No,
Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
No. The motion fails. Resolution number 2026-R-14, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2026-R-14, a resolution approving a contract with Upstate Wholesale Supply Inc. DBA Bright for the purchase of 14 body worn cameras, related accessories, and a 2-year cloud storage subscription, and declaring an emergency.
Discussion on this.
so if I heard correctly, Mrs. Valentine, so the reimbursement grant has been awarded.
Yes, I saw it this morning.
All right, so this is now a guaranteed, we will be
Yeah.
reimbursed. And which fund would the purchase be made from and then be reimbursed by the grant?
They put it under equipment.
Police department.
Police,
Yeah, police
yes.
department.
And then does the grant cover the 2-year cloud subscription? Or is that stuff to come out of
From
general?
what I read, it did. The total on the resolutions is the total for the total of the contract.
Motion to suspend.
Motion made by Mr. Bittner,
Second.
second by Ms. Wong for suspension of the rules. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wall, Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Motion for passage.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Gray, second by Mr. Bittner for passage. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wall, Mr. Elam, Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Resolution number 2026 R 15, if you could please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2026 R 15, a resolution approving a contract with Travelers for city insurance coverage and declaring an emergency.
Discussion on this.
Yes. So Mrs. Valentine, you mentioned that last year our premiums were 97, and I see that this year. On this tab, we budgeted 95. Is that? Do I have all the lines accounting for that?
I hope not.
General services tab lines 13 through 15 are the insurance, general liability, insurance vehicles, insurance public
There's
officials.
a couple extra like police have.
Yeah.
Are there? Okay.
Separate ones.
All right. So is this amount in the ordinance, 106,938? The amount above or under?
That's the
what?
amount that they already sent me the bill.
Okay,
So
it's the amount appropriated.
I didn't know that I didn't have the bill when I appropriate. I just got the bill. And then as soon as I got the bill, I sent it to get a resolution put together. But we should have just barely enough to cover it.
Okay,
Okay, anything else on this?
When's this have to be passed on?
Well, when they send the bill, they want it paid within 30 days, but. It is what it is.
and I don't see how we can not pay our insurance premiums. I was just curious as to.
I guess every other year, like, so just last year, they asked me a whole bunch of questions and then they gave me. And then this year, apparently, it was like almost like an auto renew. But on their end, they usually ask you like, what's your budget with all these questions, and then, so I just got the bill by surprise, yeah.
I mean, perhaps we'll have to look at appropriations next year, looking at the same, similar increase,
7%.
but 7%, yeah, over.
I mean, I think I.
What we-
Anticipated that increase, so I made it a little bit
Okay.
above, I made it more than it was than last year, I just.
I just don't want to fall into a trap where we're not appropriating enough and it keeps going up every year and we're still appropriating less than it's gonna end up costing us. That's gonna get us into trouble fast.
I think we need insurance, so I'm gonna go ahead and make motions.
Right?
Motion made by Mr. Bittner to suspend the rules,
Second.
second by Mr. Gray. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wall,
Aye.
Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Motion for passage. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Bittner, second by Mr. Gray for passage. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wall, Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Resolution number 2026 R 16, if you could please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2026 R 16, a resolution authorizing and directing the administrative director to enter into agreements with the city of Mentor for the 2026 road program and declaring an emergency.
Discussion on this.
I just wanted to point out, I'm not sure it makes any difference at all, but on either exhibit A or 1, whichever we're calling it, looks like it's referred to as both in the legislation. Number 4, this is for the asphalt. road repair program mentions concrete. All the other references are to asphalt. So I don't know if that has to be changed or doesn't.
Is that the contract
No, it's in the legislation.
in legislation?
Um. It's in the exhibit to the legislation.
Oh, the exhibit.
Mhm.
I usually just get the exhibits from that. That's. Yeah. I don't change that one.
Mr. Bittner.
So not this year, obviously, because it's late. It seems like a lot of things we're asking Willoughby for. Would it be possible to ask them about their road grants program for future?
I can see
I don't
they do a collect.
segment, but it seems like our dispatch we're asking to parks programs. I'm not checking with the road.
So the exhibits I received from Leonard, they do an ordinance on their side, they come up with the contract, and then they send me the contract, so that's their contract that they sent over. I don't change anything. We just do the resolution. So I don't. I can ask them to change it.
Does it need to be changed, Mr. Zeman? Is this, if the exhibit A is,
You're gonna approve there's two contracts that are competitively bid, one for the asphalt contract or one for the concrete grant. So, both of those are alternate one on those competitive bid, awards. So as long as it's clear, which of those contracts, the city of Metro on the Lake, will be entering in.
all right,
I think it'll be fine.
okay.
There's zero possibility that my contract is gonna do any work outside the scope of their award.
And we did participate in both, so.
Okay,
Motion to suspend.
motion made by Mr. Bittner for suspension of the rules. Second by Mr. Gray. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong, Mr. Elam, Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Motion made by Mr. Bittner, second by Mr. Gray for passage. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong, Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Old business. Do we have any old business tonight? New business. Do we have any new business we talked about tonight? Okay, open to the public to speak. Like to speak, please come to the lectern, state your name and address for the record. Very quiet group tonight. Okay. We're gonna close this portion to open to the public to speak. We'll go on to announcements and settings of meetings. Who's got a meeting?
Ordinance committee is meeting on Monday, April 13th at 6:30 p.m. The Board of Zoning Appeals is meeting Monday, April 20th at 7 p.m.
That was ordinance April 13th, 6:30 p.m.
Yes,
Zoning appeals Monday, April 20th, 7 p.m.
yes.
Other meetings. Next regular meeting of council will be April 14th at 7 p.m. Anything else?
Motion for adjournment.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Morris, seconded by Mr. Gray for adjournment. Roll call, please.
Mr. Morris,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong, Mr. Elam,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. We are adjourned.